time. Yeah, you think I watch this in my free time? You would be shocked by my YouTube search history. I don't even want to show it to you.
Violently exploding on contact with
sorry.
sunlight, and above all else,
Listen, since this is a Rimworld, I'm expecting some great rim jobs, okay? Because in a Rimworld, all you can have is a rim job. I'm expecting highest quality of rimming.
Voluntarily vomiting copious amounts of rodents, because today we will be attempting to
Wait, this is how Rimworld looks like? I don't know why I thought it's a pixel game.
survive Rimworld with the worst
Also red?
possible genetics. Now I know you're thinking, how bad can that really be? I will answer that simply. Each of our colonists have a genetic complexity of 104 with absolutely no redeeming qualities. Can we survive, or will we be
Oh my god, you're just a thumb. You don't have legs. You don't have arms. And you're naked. You're just a naked flesh with no limbs.
relegated to humanity's long list
Oh my god, and a hippopotamus is like trying to threaten you with violence. Oh my god, and he's bald. Why is he bald?
of genetic dead ends? Let's find out.
Wait, hold on. I just noticed something. This is very important, okay? Tyler, go away. This is very important. I have to... So, Otto is bald in the middle, but Grayson has only hair in the middle. These two men are soulmates. According to the Olive theory, these two men are soulmates. They belong together. Synergy. Love.
Of genetic dead ends. Let's find out. But
Yes.
first, a word from our sponsor. World of Tanks is an immersive
World
tank
of
combat game
Tanks?
available on PC.
It's not even War Thunder, man. It's not even War Thunder.
Housing credits and all
Right.
of this. Look at that. Thank you, World of Tanks. Now, back to the video. I started
Not
this in a temperate
even.
forest. It had plenty of open space, natural resources,
So what's the point of Rimworld? Is it just like a level up, kill things, level up again, kill things, or why do they not have legs?
and overall, a generally good
is the
vibe.
legs?
But none of that actually mattered, because the very second that our colonists physically existed,
Oh my god, it's Paris. What the fuck?
they immediately underwent a series of unplanned genetic
Fun fact, both me and my sister are day one supporters of this game and have named pawns. Oh my god, really? You're famous.
mutations that resulted in R2 turning green, Cornford developing insect mandibles, and best of all, I manifested some kind of giant crab claw. This was mildly interesting for about 24 seconds,
What
because
the
that's
fuck?
exactly how long it took us to collapse from full-body third-degree burns due to sun exposure. R2 and Cornford were phasing in and out of consciousness as a result of mind-shattering pain, and
But where's the rim job? I was told there will be high quality rim jobs here.
I had begun vigorously vomiting
What?
all over myself. Except
Ew.
instead of stomach contents, I was literally vomiting a stream of rodents because of the
Oh.
rat vomit gene. As
What is this game about? What do you mean that you can throw up by having rats? What?
I lie on the ground, writhing in the pain of having every cell in my
What?
body obliterated with UV radiation. I was powerless but to watch as the dozens of rodents, which I had just vomited, surrounded me and began passionately mating. Some
Wait, but then you can actually become the leader of the rats. You can become the king, the lord and savior, and take over the world. You have unlimited rat supplies.
even shameless enough to do so atop of my crippled carcass. This made me ask myself, has science gone too far? No, of course not. That's stupid. Let's try again. Attempt 2 went substantially better because this time I didn't mutate into a half-man, half-crustacean freak who would have to live in fear of being hunted down by a cabal of Chinese fishmongers. However, I did still have to live in
Oh my god, he became a furry. Oh no. He actually became a furry. He has man tits. He has like the redditor beard and bald head and little tenties, and he's a furry.
fear of the sun melting off all
Oh,
of my
yeah.
skin in the next 30 seconds. So we tried to mine into the side of this mountain to escape. Unfortunately, it turns out we are not very good miners. It's probably because of the bad back, frail body, near blindness, and pig hands. As you may imagine, this resulted in us desperately clawing at the stone for about 15 seconds before the sun purged us from existence with acute radiation poisoning. For attempt 3, we tried to
What even is this game? Oh my god. Like, I get it. It's modded, but what is this
Protect
game?
ourselves using sunglasses and straw hats. This was an improvement only in the sense that our corpses are now vaguely more stylish. Clearly, I may have overestimated my abilities on this one. It's time to make some concessions. I will exchange...
Wait. I need to see these. Unstable mind, fire stew, petrifying gaze, enhanced bandwidth, huh?
exchange lethal UV exposure for being physically disfigured, and I will also exchange unstable mutations for nothing, because I'd like to return some small fraction of my sanity. You may think I've just gone ahead and made this challenge too easy. Well, I'd like to remind you that we still have a genetic
mineral absorber
complexity of 96 because we are blind, deaf, and depressed alcoholics who have to eat dirt and drink human blood to survive. We have an obsession with starting fires, a crippling fear of water, and we develop a new tumor every single day. So we're not exactly genetically privileged.
Welcome to Chernobyl.
Regardless, it was refreshing to load up the world and watch my settlers shamble out of their drop pods without immediately being atomized by an unfavorable UV index. Sure, the colonists were riddled with carcinoma from their major cell instability and teratogenesis, but if you rearrange the letters in carcinoma, you can very quickly spell macaroni. And being covered in macaroni hardly sounds like a medical emergency, so I just ignored it. We got to work setting up some living quarters and planting some crops. However, our colonists are...
This is the kind of nice positivity I want to have in my life. Absolutely.
So physically wretched that they're not really able to do anything effectively. And watching them try to work evokes the same feelings as watching a quadriplegic fall out of their wheelchair. Regardless, after several hours of me uncomfortably witnessing their labor, we had managed to construct something vaguely resembling a house, a third of a hallway, and some basic farms. But around day 4, we had run into an issue. The macaroni from earlier had become aggressively metastatic, and it had spread to several areas in Andri and Martinson's bodies, rendering them physically unable to move. I used my doctor to attempt to remove the tumors, but...
Bro, the horse is sleeping in between the bed. Why do they not have legs? I don't like that. I really feel uncomfortable that the horse, ma'am, that's a zebra. It doesn't have the lines. It's only half a zebra. It's just a bra. Okay.
Moved the tumors, but his chronic narcolepsy caused him to fall asleep in the middle of lung surgery. By the time he woke up, he too was unable to move because of his own rapidly expanding network of tumors. The Rimworld storyteller must have felt extremely awkward watching my colony fail this spectacularly.
It does bother me how they just hover and they have like no arms, no legs. I feel like this is like some dystopian future where all the horrible things will happen to you.
Because they sent me a man in black in an attempt to help us out. It was nice to have a colonist whose genetic code wasn't written in Comic Sans, but he had a lot of work to do. First order of business is surgery. I've decided that our colonists can't be trusted not to develop tumors in their arms and legs, so I'm just going...
What arms and legs? They don't have arms and legs! What? You cannot cut it off. They already didn't have it.
Going to take their arms and legs.
Yeah.
Don't worry though, we'll be replacing them with pieces of scrap wood I found lying around the base. I had Keisuke perform the first surgery on Martinson. It actually went pretty well, and we managed to replace his leg with a wooden peg, effectively removing his tumor in the process. Inspired by this performance,
this is like a fucking horror movie. They are just like amputating all the limbs and they are just putting wooden peg legs onto them.
I moved on to replacing his right arm, which didn't go so well. Keisuke accidentally killed Martinson, which caused our pet zebra to go insane and kick him in the face, resulting in his immediate death. This is what we call a...
Okay, I'm sorry, but because the zebra doesn't have legs, it looks like it has gigantic tits. Okay? That zebra has 2 tits. Double D's, actually.
This is what we call a learning moment. And what have we learned? Anagrams are not a responsible substitute for medical treatment. Zebras should not be allowed in the operating room. And finally, if we're going to do this, we might have to play a little dirty. Here's the game plan. We suck. We're awful. Our bodies are factories that turn existence into suffering. But what if we could find a way to transfer our suffering to other people? Maybe then we wouldn't have to share the same life expectancy as the main character of a live leak video. Turns out it might be possible. By engaging in some genetic bartering, we were able to accept these beneficial genes at the cost of also accepting some negative.
Kill thirst. What could go wrong with that? Underdeveloped teeth? Oh no. Underdeveloped teeth? Awful crafting? Kill thirst? He's making the Brits. He's making the United Kingdom. I can't believe it.
Ones. But it was worth it, because teratogenic touch gives us the magical ability to transfer all of our tumors to another person simply by touching them. Assuming we can find a willing recipient, this will help us fend off our cancer indefinitely. Finally, we have xenogenic siphon, which gives us the ability to steal a random gene from another human and incorporate it into our genome. Of course, this is totally safe and it does not harm the donor in any way. The plan is to steal
Wait, I'm sorry. You guys don't have legs and arms, but that woman has like childbearing hips? Like that bitch has curves? Really? Really? The priorities? Look at that. Well, come on, look at that.
The plan is to steal enough beneficial genes to eventually evolve into something approximating a normal human being. Hopefully, this will help us survive. Let's begin. Looking at the map, we need to pick the optimal starting position. Our survival plan relies on stealing other people's genetics and gifting them stage 4 cancer. So first and foremost, we need people. But how will we get them? I'll tell you how.
I don't like that gift, actually. I really dislike that gift.
Econolodge. By establishing a fully functional motel with extremely low prices, we will be able to attract all sorts of drifters and vagabonds to
I am fairly certain they made a horror movie about this. Like, that you have a cheap hotel and it's actually run by fucking psychopaths who is just going to, like, amputate you and, like, experiment on you.
visit our colony. Most of them will enjoy their stay and come back, but some of them will have a slightly more memorable experience.
Oh my God.
I chose this highway tile because it's positioned between 3 friendly settlements. We're using the hotel start, which gives us plenty of building materials in exchange for not having any self-defense items. But let's be honest, we weren't going to win that fight anyway. The first thing we had to do was get naked, because out of all of the negative traits
I can't believe that they have the Americans in game. Oh my God, he's so fat.
Because out of all of the negative traits we have, Naked Runner actually gives us a move speed bonus as long as we are totally nude. Following this, I laid out some basic blueprints for the motel, and my gang of naked construction workers began awkwardly scurrying around and erecting our establishment. After a few days, it was really shaping up, so I isolated Grayson in the research room where he would spend the rest of his natural life attempting to understand microelectronics, even though he was blind, deaf, and probably illiterate. Once we finish that, we'll be able to build a comms console to invite dozens.
Honestly, there are worse faced than that. It's fine. He can do it. I believe in him. He's natural.
Of people to visit us, but at this rate, that could take a while. So for the time being, I settled on a bulletin board to meet our advertising needs. The guest rooms were nearly finished, and my extremely competitive pricing of $0 managed to attract our first
It's a furry! He made a furry island!
2 visitors. This would make for a good soft launch of our franchise. Our guests wandered around the premises for a few hours and then fell asleep in a dark warehouse, which was actually very convenient, because
that is an actual fox furry. You see that? It even has like the snout.
Because each of our colonists had
Favorite are the females? Oh, I saw one. She was thick.
About 3 tumors, and I wanted to test out our ability to transfer them to other people. I wasn't sure if this qualified as violating the non-aggression pact, but I decided to just go for it. We snuck up on Vivian and managed to successfully.
There you go. She even has titties. And I think she might be pregnant. She seemed to be pregnant. She could be pregnant.
Give her 9 instances of carcinoma without her even noticing. I almost felt bad, but then I realized she coincidentally shares the exact same xenotype as us, so she was kind of doomed from the start. I looked at the other visitor, and he actually had some pretty good genes. As much as I yearned for his genetic material, giving our first guest terminal cancer and outright murdering the second would probably have a negative impact on our Yelp rating, so I decided to leave him alone. Now unburdened by the weight of several life-threatening carcinomas, I set out to address our next issue.
What is this game? What is he practicing for? What's the point? What's the reason? Why? Is he a psychopath? Is Reggie a psychopath? Is that what I'm hearing? That I should be very careful around this man?
self-defense. At this point in our evolution, we're not capable of much. However, I think we can figure something out. One of our genes causes us to perpetually attract a horde of rats that follow us around, and as we've seen from the first attempt, the rats tend to reproduce very quickly.
Rat one is pregnant!
If we could find a way to train and weaponize these rodents, they could serve as an expendable guard force to protect our colony. The days were passing by without too much trouble. Grayson was researching, Otto was attempting to radicalize the local rat populace, and Kyle was using his social skill to attempt to entertain the guests. This boiled down to him, a hideous naked man, following them around while trying and failing to make small talk.
Come on, leave Kyle alone. He actually has an unfathomably ugly trait. There are no words to describe how revolting this person. Poor Kyle. Bro.
Somehow, that experience was making them uncomfortable, so I aborted that portion of our hospitality package. By this point, Vivian was unable to move because she had mysteriously accumulated over 20 tumors in the 7 days that she had been staying here. However, that didn't stop her friend from leaving her behind because apparently he had a great time and will be coming back. Vivian...
That's so fucking morbid. Oh, this sounds so wrong.
Certainly won't, because not long after that, she died. Not from the 31 tumors, but because I literally forgot you have to feed human beings to keep them alive. I will accept some responsibility for this. In fact, Vivian's untimely demise made me begin closely examining my actions from a moral perspective. And overall, I was very satisfied. You see, when your genetic code looks like the prototype for Lou Gehrig's disease, you feel a certain indignance regarding your place in the world, but more specifically, I felt extremely bitter towards the healthy people. People whose bodies weren't actively trying to complete some kind of unauthorized suicide pact. It's all very unfair, and I yearn for genetic equity. So in a stunning example of art imitating art, I decided to model my motel business after the gene stealer cults of Warhammer 40k. We would slowly assimilate the local populace into our ranks, and once the time is right, we will strike out against the genetic upper class, wiping them off the face of the earth and achieving a truly just society. And we already have our first collaborator, because we've just been attacked by a wild maniac. They probably took one look at our horribly emaciated colonists and thought we'd be an easy target, but little did they know we have been secretly cultivating an army of man-eating rats. In reality, we only have rats.
What? Where are the rats? There were so many rats and they were like fucking... What is that? Is that a sloth? Is that a capybara? What is this? What is this animal?
They distracted the raider just long enough for one of my colonists to sneak up and stab him in the kidney. It is now time to play the genetic lottery by violently extracting one of his genes. We got super immunity, which is pretty good, but our chromosome piracy clearly upset the raider because he initiated a hunger strike. He also stopped breathing and moving completely. Clearly, he's a very principled man when it comes to piracy, and I respect that, so I allowed him to continue his moral grandstanding at the bottom of this shallow grave. Following this, we
do respect it. A man of principles. Absolutely.
He constructed a firewall to protect the motel, had a few mental breakdowns, yo-yoed between hypothermia and heat stroke, and finally we finished the week by rescuing a prostitute from a psychotic Yorkshire Terrier. Overall, a very good start, and the reputation of Rimworld Econolodge seemed to be spreading, because we received our next batch of visitors, 6 of them in fact.
You know, this is kind of like a telenovela but for boys. You know, it actually sounds like it. The girls are watching it, the boys are living through it.
And some of them even paid for their rooms. Amazing. I decided that 1 in 6 visitors dying was an acceptable statistic to be associated with, so I had one of my colonists brandish a knife and sneak into a guest's room while they were asleep. We used our gene siphon to grab a random trait.
She's naked! The harlot!
We got low sleep, which might not seem great, but it actually overrides an even worse gene, so overall, it's an improvement. Slowly but steadily, we are building a ladder of corpses and climbing it straight to...
Oh, she's dead. Aw, such a shame. She had nice tits.
Genetic supremacy. Honestly, I'm not sure what's worse, having your chromosomes ripped out of your body while you sleep, resulting in your immediate death, or actually living and having to stay at my motel for an entire week. Because as you stumble through the dark and narrow hallways in search of even the most basic form of recreation, you will find only 2 things. 1, a cataclysmic infestation of rats that permeate every orifice of the...
Just like Paris. I do love some nice French holiday. Very lovely, relaxing vacation.
motel. And 2, you will find my hideous and naked colonists erratically darting around in the shadows, trying to get close enough to touch you so they can covertly bestow you with terminal cancer.
I kinda don't like ugly naked men touching me and infecting me with things. Thank you.
Paradoxically, your only reprieve
Oh my god, is that a hot chocolate? Oh, never mind. I'm coming to this hotel. I changed my mind. I didn't know that the service is this good.
from this living hell is when the motel is
Amen.
attacked by homicidal maniacs, who, if you are lucky, will complete a mercy killing on you with the nearest blunt object. Unfortunately for you, my militant collection of rats is always ready to defend the base. Speaking of, we were attacked again, but this time we had about 7 trained rats which swarmed the raider and incapacitated them with an assortment of bites and scratches. Normally, I'd attempt to gene rip this guy, but he's a baseliner, which makes him stupid and boring, so
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but I'm a little bit personally offended by these traits. What do you mean that pale skin color with blonde means that you are stupid and bored? What the fuck? I would like to leave a bad review actually under this video. I would like to downvote this. I did not come here to be offended. Okay, I came here for the hee and the ha. Actually, really rude.
so instead we'll
It
just
could be anyone's coup. I don't know.
arrest him for later use. Now, our deployment of the
I don't know, man. It kind of has. It could be me. Maybe my name is Josephine.
Rat Defense Force was technically a success, but the raider was able to kill about 4 of them, and that just
Bro, it's like the same hair length that I have on my model. Look at that model and look at me. And look at this model and look back at me. Come on. It's me.
use. Now,
It's
our deployment
me.
of the Rat Defense Force was technically a success, but the raider was able to kill
It's
about 4 of them,
literally
and that just
me.
seemed kind of wasteful. So I decided to open a restaurant attached to the top of the motel, which will be selling meals made exclusively from dead rats. Of course, our guests don't know that, but regardless, this is a nice way to make a little extra money. It was now day 20, and despite the best efforts of our chronically disabled researcher, we were still a long ways from understanding microelectronics. So I decided to host a little party, where I locked everyone in a room without food or water until they could properly articulate how semiconductors work. Normally, this is an effective way to produce 3 dead bodies.
The rats are there for moral support, actually.
But in this case, it actually worked. After building the comms console, I began advertising Rimworld Econo Lodge to all nearby civilizations by inviting them for a free stay. This means more people, and more people means more genes, which will hopefully translate to less violent outbursts as a result of being genetically depressed.
Bro, I'm getting killed again. What the fuck? Excuse me, no.
We now had a semi-steady stream of visitors at our motel, and we slowly started picking them off for their delicious chromosomes. Some notable acquisitions included Fast Runner, Dead Calm, and Long Jump Legs. Needless to say, the cult is evolving. Just as things were starting to look up for us, I was notified there was a giant space battle taking place directly above my motel, and I should beware of stray plasma blasts and falling debris. Oh yeah, this is great. As if the 1 in 6 chance of being violently assassinated wasn't exciting enough, my guests can now edge themselves to the thought of a chunk of space debris flattening them at any given moment. All in all, we survived the bombardment, but the forest did not. As a man who
Uh-oh.
built his entire motel out of drywall and asbestos, the
I
size
thought that was a sandwich. I thought that this was... I thought that was a nice cheese sandwich. I was like, delicious. A nice sourdough with a slice of cheese. Yummy, yummy.
and asbestos, the size of this forest fire was mildly concerning. But we got lucky because some kid wanted to join the colony,
Nom,
and of
nom, nom.
course,
Dickerson. Oh my god.
I accepted. Originally, I was just going to murder him for his genes, but it turns out he's some kind of
It's a furry. Oh my god.
embryonic furry, so instead I just assigned him to menial labor, such as fighting forest fires, scrubbing blood out of the bed sheets, and of course digging fresh graves for our more indefinite visitors. By this point, most of our basic needs have been satisfied. We are slowly improving our genetics, the base is relatively safe, and we
Wait, so is that what you have to do in Rimworld, or is Reggie just being schizophrenic? Like, do you have to steal genes and that's how you evolve. You just kind of like suck it out of people, or you know, he's just committing war crimes for hee. This is Gmod.
I have an abundance of raw steel, which is the only source of nutrition my colonists
I
will
see
eat.
it.
The only missing component was Hemogen. We need it, and surprisingly, the motel guests aren't open to the concept.
I'm alive. I've rebranded, but I'm alive, and I am making friends with the rats. The rats are my friends.
Of sharing. That's where this bad boy comes in. A giant vat of goo that passively sucks the hemogen out of a human body and delivers it in a nice little sippy pouch for my colonists. The only issue was acquiring the advanced components to craft it. Fortunately, I was able—
I am Weiss, because Weiss means white, and I'm very, very fucking pale. They will never recognize it that it's me. They will not know. Incognito 10 out of 10.
to convince a random tribesperson to go explore the ancient danger, where he found everything we would need. His leg was blown off in the process, but we got the component, and that's all that matters. Alright, let's test this out. Josephine, I really hope you haven't become—
She's taking a shit, okay? Do not look at it. She's doing lady things out. She's touching grass or salad. She's fertilizing the salad.
too accustomed to being alive, because you are going in the vat. This portion of your stay at Rimworld Econology—
Bro, they put me in the jar. I can't believe it. He actually put me into the coom jar. What the fuck?
is strictly
fuck, man?
non-negotiable. Around this point, I was starting to become worried about the state of our military. Raid difficulty was increasing faster than our population of rats, and my prediction was that soon we would all be dead. A sane individual would have tried to solve this problem by building auto turrets, but me, I wanted to double down on the rats. I decided to leverage our weak stomachs in combination with the rat vomit gene as a way of achieving rodent hyperinflation. By feeding Kyle a strict diet of nothing but raw meat and beer, we could ensure a near perpetual state of vomiting, and as a result, an endless supply of rats. Before long, we had accumulated over 30. Normally, this would be difficult to manage, but we found a psi trainer in the ancient tomb, which helped Otto improve his animal stat such that he could kind of vaguely exercise some control over the Skaven clan that was now inhabiting our base. The next step in our plan to subvert the healthy people, unsurprisingly, involves a lot of explosives. We had accumulated a few drifters.
Oh my god, they got Asmongold! Oh my god, look behind my head. They got Asmongold. They got me too, and they got him too.
From random events, and naturally, I put
Fuck.
them to work in sweatshops producing industrial amounts of chem fuel. If anyone asks, this is strictly for the drop pods we are building and nothing else. Speaking of drop pods, they will be the key ingredient in manipulating the population. You see, we've been killing a few people, and our genes are improving. We even managed to steal this guy's entire racial identity.
And I was 2% African, so I'm legally allowed to say the word nigga.
But slaughtering the innocent is not very good for PR. And
Oh my god. Thank you, Tomito! Bro, where does
eventually,
he get
the
these
nearby
clips?
factions will realize Rimworld Econology
Jesus.
has a homicide problem, and they'll stop sending us visitors. However, I would like to introduce the concept of bribery. By loading up a drop pod with beer and sending it to a faction HQ, we can manipulate them into liking us and sending us more visitors, which we will invariably massacre. What is a human life worth? About 28 beer, as it turns out. And when we have alcohol shortages, I can just mail them back the estate.
I mean, that's a lot of beer. 28? Are we talking like half a liter or 1 liter or like barrels or?
Of the deceased visitors, and that works pretty good
Kinda
too.
nice.
We can even slowly convince our natural enemies to like us by inundating them with obscene amounts of alcohol. Everyone is my friend, and my love language is acts of violence. At this point, we settled into a steady rhythm of abducting people, mass-producing rats, and of course, entering fits of inconsolable sobbing. Over the next 25 days, our manipulation tactics allowed us to accumulate an impressive collection of genetics. The only thing that was really slowing us down was whenever it would rain, all of my colonists would become catatonic because of their crippling fear of water. Despite this, we were becoming something more than human, like Superman, if he was blind and psychotic. I found the key to this was exploiting the villages which had a higher chance—
What the fuck is Rough Pig Union? Civil Xeno-Human Union. This game is amazing.
of spawning villagers with
What the
custom
fuck?
xenotypes, because that means there's a chance of one of our visitors having genetics like this. Holy shit.
Fuckmeister?
People with genetics this good get the VIP pass.
Wait, what were the genetics? Can I take a peek? What? Detonation. Chem fuel vomit. Blood feeder. Coagulate. Egg laying. Slug head. Robust digestion. Insect rally. Mineral shock. Acid spray. Oh my god. What is he building?
People with genetics this good
What
get
the
the
fuck?
VIP package, which is 3 weeks of solitary confinement interrupted only by periodic visits to the gene extractor. This whole experience was beginning to feel like a drug-induced expression of abstract art, and the problem with art is that sometimes it's not clear when it's complete. Are we ready now to overthrow humanity? Probably not, but Otto can run at 30 kilometers an hour, temporarily turn his skin to steel, and best of all, he can telepathically cause people to go insane. So I'm just gonna give it a shot. The game plan is simple. We have 5 things going for us. Lots of rats, weird genetic abominations, a surplus of jet fuel, and these 2 bad boys. I found these in the Ancient Danger from earlier. One of them will teleport us and 1200...
I love it how there is like a point for beauty in this really fucked up world. It's like, oh, okay. It's very nice, but also -4 beauty points. I'm sorry,
pounds of
lads.
supplies anywhere on the map, and after we teleport, he will
-4.
activate the other one to instantly turn all
What the fuck is that?
animals on the map into manhunters. I don't know if we'll survive this, but it should be fun. I attempted to gather some weapons for the attack. We should have a bunch left over from the dozens of people we killed, but I had a hard time finding anything. Originally, I thought I just accidentally sold them, but upon reviewing the footage, I realized my fucking weirdo colonists were literally eating the bolt-action rifles. Jesus.
What? Prioritize eating machine pistol. Norm. What? When?
Christ, get me out of here. Okay, so I just grabbed whatever I could find and set out. We activated the teleporter and chose this settlement.
Yummy?
Why?
Question
Because I wanted
mark?
to prove a point that no one is safe from the genetic uprising, even if they've isolated themselves on some piece of shit island 4,000 kilometers off the coast. We arrived, and so did our 65 rats and 1,000 pounds of explosive barrels. The battle was on, and the first casualty was my frame rate. Things quickly devolved into a gruesome melee. Our foes were technologically superior, but 65 rats is a pretty good equalizer. I had Otto harden his skin and take up a strategic position with the shotgun. He was, of course, still blind, so the efficacy of this tactic was questionable at best. Kyle was fundamentally incapable of violence, so instead I had him activate the animal transmitter, which immediately turned about 25 different animals into bloodthirsty killing machines that were now
But Kyle was just very fucking ugly. He should have been running around naked, just so that everyone gets horrified by how ugly he is.
headed straight for the base. Following this, I used his healing abilities to try to patch up our soldiers, and when he was out of cooldowns, I ran him straight into the enemy to use his acidic detonation ability. That was the end of Kyle. Grayson used his genetic superpowers to summon a singular ostrich. That's actually all Grayson can
There's ostrich in the game.
do. He didn't get very lucky with the genes. Our rats were slowly
Can they lay eggs? Can you have mini ostriches? Of just an entire army of mini ostriches.
gnawing their way through the heavy armor of our opponents, but the kill
Yes!
feed was starting to look like this, and our numerical advantage was quickly fading. As I was watching the melee unfold, someone snuck up on Grayson and shot him in the mouth. I retaliated by forcing them to become violently insane and attack their friends, which was fun to watch, but the writing was on the wall. We took down a few more soldiers before Otto was surrounded and incapacitated. If there was any silver lining to this, it's that he won't have to be a part of
See, if he wouldn't have put me to the jar, I could have helped. But now I am sitting in the coom jar while being extracted.
what happens next, because right on time, the cavalry had arrived. 9 man-eating muffalos, 10 clinically insane deer, and an assortment of other violent creatures washed upon the enemy base. It was carnage, men being eaten alive by raccoons, auto turrets mag-dumping on boom rats, and a herd of charging muffalo absolutely annihilating some dickhead with a sword. I personally witnessed this mega sloth absorb about 400 pounds of lead, and let me tell you, it was a sight to behold. But at the
I thought that the mega sloth was holding the gun. And I was getting a little bit concerned that now animals can equip weapons as well.
to behold. But at the end of the day, it was man who was the apex predator. In the face of a defeat such as this, it's tempting to think our battle was all for naught. Meaningless
Wait,
even.
he
But that's wrong.
lost?
Because on this day, 3 brave employees of Rimworld Econo Lodge stood up to their oppressors and shot a pressurized stream of acid directly into their eyes. And the energy of that exact moment can never be destroyed, because it will live on eternally in the hearts of the downtrodden. I want to thank this month's patrons for supporting the channel. Thank you for watching, and finally, thank you to World of Tanks. Download the game with the link in the description to receive 7 days premium access, 250,000 silver, and all of this.
I can't believe he lost. Bro, that's so sad. I thought that he would win. Boo. Hey, Nina. I was just about to go. Hello. I was just about to go as well. Oh no. Neat late night raiders. Oopsie. Everybody's going to bed. It's after midnight.